Greetings, Lafayette, and welcome to this year's first installment of WLES News, bringing you all of the news you can use. Hi, I'm Elijah, and I'd like to welcome everyone back to WLES News for the 2017-2018 school year.
Hello, I'm Sam, and welcome back to the very best video news broadcasting club at Lafayette, WLES.
Sam, it's the only news broadcasting club at Lafayette.
Indeed it is, Elijah, and that's what makes it the best. Now let's move on to the news. First off, we had some amazing live performances at Lafayette this past week, the first of which was the Drama Club's presentation of a play written by Lafayette's own Mr. King called Numbers. Let's take a quick look at the action in case you missed it. Shake your things down, shake it out. True God's honest way, say it loud. Use that evidence, face it around. There goes my hero, watch it as he goes.
Wow, that was cool, and the best drama club production I've seen to date. In addition to the drama club's awesome play, we also had a visit from everyone's favorite mindfulness rapper, Just Me. Let's take a quick peek to see what Just Me was getting into at Lafayette this year.
Wow. Yeah, that was awesome. So many performances, and to think next week. We also have our Music in Our Schools Month concert on Thursday, March 22nd at 2 p.m. in the cafeteria. Hope to see everyone there.
You got that right, Sam. Now, let's go to our first story with WLES field reporters Rory and Gabriella. They reported on this past year's Halloween parade, and while the story may be a little old, I will never turn down an opportunity to hear about costumes and candy.
Agreed, Elijah. And over to you, girls.
Hello, Lafayette. I'm Rory, and this is Gabby. And we are here at the Lafayette Parade to interview some fellow students.
The Lafayette Parade has been going on for many years, and we will continue to carry on the tradition. All the kids from pre-kindergarten to 5th grade participate. Let's get to the interviews.
Hi, what's your name?
Avery. What grade are you in, and who is your teacher?
I'm in 5th grade, and my teacher is Mr. Grego. He's right there. Right there.
What is your favorite thing to do on Halloween?
Get candy.
How much did you enjoy our own Halloween parade?
It was fun, and I liked it.
Do you have any tricks for getting good candy?
You know those take one piece balls? Take the whole bowl.
Did you see any specific costume you really liked?
Mine.
Hi, what's your name?
Evan.
What class are you in, and which grade?
I'm in the 5th grade, and I am in Miss Harn's class.
How much did you enjoy our annual Halloween parade?
It was fun. I like to see a lot of costumes. There was a lot of Ant-Mans.
Speaking of costumes, what's your favorite costume you've ever worn for Halloween?
Well, I was a fried chicken when I was 3, and that was pretty fun. And then this year.
Cool.
Can you show us your costume? I love it. Well, thank you for interviewing with us. Goodbye. Happy Halloween. Hi, what's your name?
My name's Judson.
What grade are you in, and who is your teacher?
I'm in 5th grade, and my teacher is Miss Scubell.
Do you have any tricks for getting really good candy?
No, not really. I just rely on luck.
Yeah, me too. What is your favorite costume you've ever worn for Halloween?
This one, my panda costume.
Nice.
Do you have any place where you go every year to get candy?
Yes, but sorry, I don't really know the name. I don't pay attention to the name.
Do you decorate your house with any Halloween decorations?
Yes, I do.
What are they?
We decorate it like we put spiders and stuff like that around the house. We put up lights and stuff like that.
Cool. Thank you for your time. Thank you for answering our questions. Happy Halloween. Have an awesome night of trick-or-treating.
Wow, great story, Rory and Gabriella. Hey, Elijah, did you know this Saturday is yet a big annual Lafayette event?
Yes, Sam, I did. It's the Lafayette auction. This year's theme is St. Patty's Day, so all of you attendees should be sure to wear green. It's adults only, so all you kids out there, make sure you have a babysitter or a play date.
Did you know also that this year's auction raise the paddle will be for new technology? The HSA will be doing their best to raise some funds to purchase new technology in their schools, including new laptops for some classrooms.
Sounds like a good cause, Sam. Lafayette does just keep getting bigger and better, and all of those new classrooms could definitely use more computers. Speaking of technology, Lafayette held its second annual Cookies and Coding event back in December, and WLES's own Eli was there to find out more about this informative event.
This year, Lafayette held its second annual Cookies and Coding event to kick off the Computer Science Education Week and the Hour of Code. To start the event, we were two guest speakers who came to talk about the importance of coding for students. The first speaker was Patricia Davis Buffett, who is a director of Global Public Spectre Marketing at Amazon Web Services. The second speaker was Dwayne McClary, who is the director of Educational Technology in DC Public Schools. Let's listen to a little to hear just what these two VIPs had to say.
Please have them sign up. But this is a big focus for us because we're now noticing that computer science is the way forward for the future. Thank you.
Right now, Megan is doing code.org. As you see, she is moving blocks to code something to move to her destination in this top corner. This is Ray doing code.org, and he's trying to move the blocks so he can get the person to draw a triangle. This is a Sphero. It helps you have an iPad to control it and make it move wherever you go.
My name is Eli. This is the second annual Cookies and Coding, and at Lafayette Elementary School. And we do coding programs coding.org, and Spiro. Now I'll be interviewing Mr. Wien. Let's go. What inspired you to do cookies and coding?
Okay, so what inspired me for Cookies and Coding was Computer Science Education Week. So we think it's really important to teach kids about coding because more jobs are coming from the coding industry and the tech industry than any other field right now, and it's projected to grow. So we think preparing students by teaching them coding in fun and interactive ways that is developmentally appropriate will be very beneficial to them in the long run and hopefully spark some interest in coding.
Do you think it is fun for kids to learn different ways to code?
I do think it's very fun for kids to learn different ways to code. I think everyone who came had a great time. I think it's really fun to get to play with things like robotic balls when you can actually see the fruits of your labor right away. You program it, you get to see it move, you can see if you can pull something off. So it's really fun and exciting. So I think there's lots of different ways to get kids to interact with coding, which is what we tried to do. So different, becode.org, there's also Scratch, lots of free outlets out there to learn coding where you can actually even develop apps and things like that for phones. So we can take it a lot farther. We're just starting, but we hope to get kids even more engaged and more excited about it in the future.
Why did you become a text teacher at Lafayette?
Okay, this is a great question. Why did I become a tech teacher at Lafayette? I've always found technology very interesting. When I was in undergrad, I went to school for audio technology, which is audio engineering, which is very different from what I do now. I've since gone back to school for technology and technology coordination. But I think it's very useful. I think there's going to be a lot more jobs. There are going to be more jobs in the tech industry. So I think that it's important that we make sure that you guys know that and that we show value and importance to technology in general and hopefully get people more excited about it.
All right, thank you for your time, and back to the studio.
Wow. Cool, Eli. That event looked like a lot of fun. Thank you for the informative report.
Speaking of informative information, next week is the Scholastic Book Fair at Lafayette, where you can really gain some knowledge by purchasing and reading a few new books.
You got that right, Elijah. I'm thinking of getting some books on comedy. How about you? Any books you're in the market for, Elijah?
I want to get some books by the author Rick Riordan. Speaking of books and authors, Lafayette recently had a visit from the author Maris Wicks, and our WLES field reporter Truman got to sit down and speak with her about one of her newest books. Over to you, Truman.
Hello, my name is Truman from WLES, and I'm here interviewing Maris Wicks about her new book, Coral Reefs. So, we are interviewing Maris Wicks about her new book, Coral Reefs. It's not that new. Coral Reefs, Cities of the Ocean. It's a comic and a graphic novel, kind of, about coral reefs. And we're going to ask her some questions, hopefully get good answers. And starting now. What inspired your book about coral reefs?
So what inspired my book about coral reefs was I had spent the last 8 years at the New England Aquarium as an educator, so I was doing a lot of like ocean education, and the centerpiece of the aquarium is this 200,000 gallon tank called the Giant Ocean Tank. So I would get to stand up at the top of the tank and give presentations to like 250 people. And I knew that I loved comics and I knew I loved the ocean, but I hadn't done a book about the ocean yet. So I was like, what are some of the things that I love to share with the public that I could put into a comic and potentially reach even more people? Now I have to admit, coral reefs isn't just about coral reefs. There's a lot of cool ocean stuff there in general. I mean, it talks about phytoplankton, it talks about the water cycle, it talks about climate change and things like that. So there's a lot of big stuff in it, but I think coral reefs are a fun hook. You know, you can, I always tell people, I'm like, come for the, sharks, stay for everything else. It's just kind of like a fun way to get people interested in it and then give them more information.
Okay. Why did you choose a yellow prawn goby?
Oh, why did I choose a yellow prawn goby for the narrator? I wanted to choose a fish that was ubiquitous throughout coral reefs. I wanted to pick a fish that was just kind of found all over reefs, that was kind of unassuming. I didn't want to pick a fish that was, one might say, parrotfish might have been more fun to choose, or, for a long time people would be like, why didn't you choose a clownfish there? But I wanted to pick a fish that hadn't had a lot of attention, but was found kind of all over. And yellow prong gobies are mostly Pacific, but there are gobies found in the Atlantic as well. They're kind of a pretty common reef fish. I thought that would make sense.
In one of the pages, it says that there were atmospheric changes to the planet. When did those happen?
So
or do they happen all the time?
That is a big question. So there are atmospheric changes happening all over the time and have been happening since Earth was formed. I mean, when I was talking earlier in the presentation, I talked about how cyanobacteria, which are these really small bacteria that were in the ocean, basically when life started to happen, they're the main oxygen producers. One of the biggest things I wanted to talk about with atmospheric change in the coral reefs book is that since the Industrial Revolution, since the mid-1800s, the increase of carbon dioxide from human activities has started to change the climate, and that's what we're a lot of times looking at. So yeah, there's going to be things like volcanic eruptions and changes in the planet that are going to change the climate. But if there's things that we can prevent that we're doing that's changing the climate, that's something worth looking at and learning about and just staying educated about. I think a lot of people get frustrated with science because they want really hard answers. They will you told it was this thing. But science doesn't work that way. Science is an ongoing investigation, and we're trying to learn as much as we can. Technology gets better and better so we can learn more, especially with atmospheric science. It's amazing. I mean, we've got sensors all over the planet, from everywhere from Antarctica to the equator to the Arctic. And for me, at the end of the day, is knowing that this stuff is happening, and then also saying hey, we're smart organisms, we're humans. Can we look at this information and can we try and take care of our planet? Can we do things that...
Wow, fantastic story, Truman. We are so lucky we get so many amazing visitors here at Lafayette.
You got that right, Sam. There's one other very important announcement that we should make before we close out this episode of WLES News. Do you know what's happening after next week?
Let me think. It's
spring break! Haha, Sam, you really had me going there for a minute. So everyone, if you don't already know, this year's spring break runs from March 26th through the 30th, with school resuming on April 2nd. So Sam, what are you planning on doing for spring break?
I'm going to Costa Rica to have some fun in the sun. How about you, Elijah? What are you getting into?
I'm going to the beach, too. Only I'm going to the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Sounds like a blast. Well, that just does it for this year's first installment of WLES News, bringing you all the news you can use. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you here again soon. I'm Sam, and I'll catch you next time back here on WLES.
I'm Elijah, and I hope you got to catch up on all the cool things happening here at Lafayette. Thank you for joining us here on WLES News, and we hope to see you here again next time. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use of this program without the expressed written consent of the DCPS, Lafayette, or Dr. Ricard is strictly prohibited.
Bye.